Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I am here to present to you the 22nd Foodie Book Tag. I'm going to leave a list down below to all of the other Foodie Book Tags that we've completed, but I will say that the Donut Book Tag that I released back in June really got a great response, so I really felt the need to come back with a new one. And the newest Foodie Book Tag is to celebrate and commemorate a new brand of ice cream that I really enjoy eating. I love my cheese, but I also love my ice cream. There's a brand called Coolhaus, and their ice cream is amazing. I really like the pints of lesser-known companies, and Coolhaus in particular, they have very unique flavors that I'm going to be going over with the questions that I created that revolve around them. And Coolhaus Ice Cream is a woman-owned. It's owned by two women. There are real ingredients. It's as natural as possible. There's no hormones. The eggs are cage-free. The vanilla beans are cold-pressed. They are equal partner, and the chocolate's organic. It's made with organic cane sugar, and most importantly, it is fulfilling and delicious. So, this is a celebration of a favorite ice cream company. And I came up with 10 questions revolving around their flavors. These are 10 of their more original flavors. They have come out with a boatload of new ones, and I'm going to leave a link down below to their website to let you know which flavors that they have. And let's get started. The first prompt is for Best of Both Worlds Vanilla, made with both Tahitian and Madagascar vanilla beans. A contemporary work that you would place in the canon. And for that, I'm going with The Simplica Girl Diaries by George Saunders, because I feel that it speaks wonders about today's society and culture. It has been ongoing where material wealth has been valued to an unhealthy extent, but the Simplica Girl Diaries really brings in today's issues and gives us that dystopian idea of what would happen if it got too carried away. And save for one of the members of the immediate family and the central character's father-in-law, the people in this story are very shallow, and their values are warped. Next one is Street Cart Churro Dough, which is a cinnamon butter ice cream with pieces of churro dough and a chocolate chip swirl. A great work set among street vendors or at a carnival or fair, where are perfect places to find food in the vein of churros and other fried delights. I chose A Strangeness in My Mind by Orhan Pamuk because it covers a point in time where street vendors were still prevalent, and this was before the days of the markets, so people would be selling yogurt out on the streets. They also sold boza, which is an alcoholic beverage. I think it's very reminiscent of booze, but this novel was just incredible. It really gave you a great sense of Turkey during the mid 20th century, and in particular, it really covers what it was like to be selling as a street vendor, and just the whole background of the central character's family as well. In this case, it's Mevlut. Next one is chocolate molten cake, which is chocolate ice cream and chocolate cake and chocolate batter all mixed together. A work that screams the most of a particular genre, and I'm going to go with, for dystopian, the Hunger Games trilogy, because it does so much that it goes overboard in my mind. The Hunger Games was a great piece, but Catching Fire and Mockingjay did everything they could to fulfill everything on the box office checklist that comes with what is required of a particular work in a particular genre for a particular market. And in many cases, this question can be interpreted where it is a positive thing. And I would think that with the Hunger Games, it was, where it did develop a great dystopian atmosphere, but Catching Fire and Mockingjay, which you're pretty much left with no choice but to read them. It really does everything that every other dystopian or book that is set to become a box office series is bound to do. Next one is Campfire S'mores, which has, it's a marshmallow ice cream with pieces of chocolate and a graham cracker swirl. And question for that is, which writer would you want as a storyteller on your camping trip? And I was able to narrow it down to two writers, but I went with Ray Bradbury, because Ray Bradbury has a great range when it comes to speculative fiction, and sometimes it even tilts into literary fiction. But I'm sure that his stories are going to be so meaningful and mystical that he can definitely pull out a scary story, but it's going to be one that it's not like that stereotypical, it was a dark and stormy night, or something about some legend of long ago, but it's something that is weaved like only he can weave, and not only will he scare, but he'll leave the listeners to thinking well beyond the night and well beyond the trip. Next one is Milkshake and Fries, which is it's a Tahitian vanilla ice cream with malt balls, chocolate malt balls, and pieces of julienne fries. The first time I just thought it was okay, but then, funny enough, I've grown a liking to it. For this one, the prompt is, what two different writers would you like to see collaborate? And me having an interest in plays and having read their plays, I would be interested to see, and this is Dead or Alive. And my choices would be William Shakespeare and Samuel Beckett, because I think that they can put together something really unique between Shakespeare's poetic and lyrical writing that often has a flow to it, and you have Beckett's postmodern, outside the box, absurd, and to meld them together, I would be very curious to see what the finished product is. Next one is Dirty Mint Chip, which is a chocolate chip mint ice cream with with cinnamon in it. And for this one is a suggestive or dirty classic work. And for this one, I'm going to choose a poem called The Vine by Robert Herrick. And it has to do with the speaker's fantasy about his genitalia morphing into a vine that possesses a particular woman, a woman that he desires. And this was probably one of the most alarming poems that I read during British Literature 1. I thought The Flea was somewhat alarming, but then I read The Flea by John Donne, but then I read The Vine by Robert Herrick, and that blew it out of the water. The next one is Bananas Foster, which is a banana ice cream with a rum swirl. And for this one, a children's book that is also bound to resonate with older readers. And for this I chose Love You Forever, written by Robert Munch, and this version was illustrated by Sheila McGraw. And this children's book is perfect for all readers because younger readers are going to see it one way, where the message is that mom and or dad will always love you, and adult readers see it in the same way, but they also see that cycle of life, and where the adults may find, where kids may find the actions of the mom in this book to be a bit silly here and there, I feel that adults will find it to be funny. I know that there's been an issue where adult readers have seek complication. It's not meant to be. But yet it touches upon that cycle of life message that is really going to cause the reader to choke up or at least feel a sense of sentiment. And the next one is Farmer's Market Strawberry Cheesecake, which is a cheesecake ice cream with pieces of strawberry. To be honest, I have not eaten it, I've yet to eat this ice cream, and I have not seen it in my supermarket. The first 7 and option 10, which we're going to get to, were the only ones I've seen at my supermarket. But for this one, a great example of homegrown, home-cooked, or personally prepared food in a particular work. And the one that gets to me is featured in The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. If you have yet to read this book, I'll give you a spoiler warning, because I am going to make mention to something, but in particular, in the epilogue, the speaker makes mention to having a sandwich, which was made with freshly baked bread, sharp, salty cheese, and the kind of tomatoes that actually taste like something. And that's quoting from the book. And that really sparked my gustatory senses, where I could taste what the speaker was eating. And I am really tempted and inclined to putting one of those together myself. I'm imagining that the cheese was a cheddar cheese. Actually, I think it did make mention to it being a cheddar cheese. Yes, no, it didn't say the type, but I'm imagining that it was a cheddar cheese, a sharp cheddar. But only Neil Gaiman knows for sure. But they do make mention to the lemon pancakes that the Hempstocks made as well. I think that he does a marvelous job when it comes to food in his writing. Neil Gaiman is just an amazing writer in general. Next one is Midnight Munchies, which is a chocolate peanut butter ice cream with pieces of pretzel. I've seen ice creams of this nature. They're not my thing, but then again, I'm not into peanut butter, chocolate or peanut butter. Very few reasons why I would have chocolate, and peanut butter is just not my thing. A work that is worth getting up to read in the middle of the night. And technically I just did this for preparation of a session, but middle of the night, more so wee hours of the morning for me. But Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. I'm going to let you know that in the months to come, I'm going to have a lot of amazing things to say about this book. This is just fantastic. It's coming of age, it's genre bending, it's magical, but at the same time, everything has a realistic explanation to it. And I would definitely get up in the middle of the night to read this. This is definitely something that keeps me engaged. Even if it is a bigger book and a rich book, it's an engaging book. Next one is Balsamic Fig and Mascarpone, which is a mascarpone cheese ice cream with pieces of balsamic fig. Someone has described this as tasting like a cheese board. So this is going to be a bit of a longer question, but it's a very interesting one. And that is, create a literary cheese plate. Pick 2 poems, 1 short story, and 1 play that you enjoyed and that you feel go well together to be placed on your board. Plus, add a refreshment and location to enjoy them with. And the 2 poems that I picked were Prayer by Louis Untermeyer, because I just think that is fantastic and fulfilling poem that really gives you that sense of direction. For me, it did. And a poem that's a bit more... and then I wanted to pick a poem that was a little bit more lighthearted, even though, to me, it just was fulfilling nature and the rural life. So I had to pick something by Seamus Heaney, and the one that really spoke to me was Blackberry Picking. So I put that on the board. That one really, it kind of like what Churning Day does to the honesty of the process of making butter. Blackberry Picking is a poem about the honest process of what it's like to pick blackberries. For a short story, I went with Kew Gardens by Virginia Woolf because it also fulfills that background of nature, but it also is thought-provoking and makes you think outside of the box. But most importantly, it treats all of God's contributions to this world as one, and depicts every living thing as such, be it a human, an animal, or a plant. And then for a play, which I went with Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett, because I was wondering which Beckett play should go on this board, and Waiting for Godot is probably the one that he's known most for, and it's also the one that it probably has the most traditional flow, which I think would match well with poems like, or with works like Kew Gardens, Kew Gardens requires more thought. This one requires you to think, but not in the way that a lot of his short plays have, because those are just thinking mechanisms. Waiting for Godot is a little bit more, there's a little bit more of an entertainment value in my mind. And for a refreshment, I would go with either an ice cold water or a cold apple cider. And a location, I would say either outside on a nice cool day or in an area where I can leave my refreshments on a table like the one here, and I'm in a sitting position, be it in a chair or on a couch. Next one is, what is your favorite flavor of Coolhaus Ice Cream? Or, for those that haven't had it, the flavor you are most eager to try. And I would check out a website, which is, I'm going to leave a link down below. Take a look at the different kinds of ice cream, and whichever one you're most eager to try, that would be your answer. And I brought mine with me. It is street cart churro dough. That's my favorite flavor. They do have a take the cannoli, which I'm eager to try, but they don't have it at my store yet. And finally, who do you tag? And I'm going to tag 16 people. Some of which are people that I generally tag, and then there's others that this is either my first time tagging them or people that I want to see complete the tag and have maybe it'll give them incentive to come up with a new video. Steve Donahue, Sue and Megan from Spine Breakers, Brian from Bookish, Amy from the Dusty Bookshelf, Kara from Wild Book Garden, Todd from Todd the Librarian, who has made his way back to the BookTube community. He had to take a little bit of a break due to personal issues, but I'm happy to see him back with new videos. Gretchen and Michaela from Betwixt the Books, Janelle from All the World's a Page, new booktuber Steve from Steve Warman, Rashmika from Rashmika Likes Books, someone that I'm hoping makes a bit of a comeback on their channel, Alexis from Real Human Being, someone that I'm really happy to see maybe making their way back, Amanda from Amanda in PA, who has fought and succeeded in her battle with breast cancer, and I'm really hoping that she's able to produce new content and perhaps give this book tag a shot. BookTube Goddess, who comes up with amazing videos. She did my donut book tag, and I had a smile on my face the whole time. Erin from With the Classics, Anne from Irish Book Nerd, who is new to the community, and Lucy from Lucy and a Cupful of Tea, who I really hope she completes this tag and releases some new content, because I enjoy her video. I enjoyed her introduction video and what she may have to offer. Thank you for tuning in to this 22nd and newest foodie book tag. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel. Be sure to like what we release. Leave a comment so that we can have a conversation down below. And subscribe if you really like it. I would love to have you on board. And for those of you that are tagged or are interested, I would love to see how you respond. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope be sure to join us again. And for now, and as always, I encourage you to keep reading. Mm.